Hello and welcome back to Southeast Texas Weekly. I'm Kevin Steele. It's Political Roundtable Week. Once again, we have some distinguished leaders from all area partisan persuasions. The U.S. is at a crossroads, folks. As the 2012 presidential sweepstakes begins, our governor is on the campaign trail. President Barack Obama has promised landmark legislation to be announced in September. Sometimes we get along here, far more often we do not. There are sharp differences in the way we think around here. And joining us to talk about some of those sharp differences, Michael Truncale with the State Executive Committee, with the State Republican Executive Committee. Great to see you, sir, as always.
Good to be here.
Walston with Brannick, Walston and DeVenzio, and James Shannon with the Business Journal. Great to see you, sir.
Good to be back, Kevin.
Very big, important questions to ponder this week. Among the framework that we want to begin with is this matter of the president becoming apparently so unpopular so shortly after the elimination of Osama bin Laden that it's making heads spin. Gallup says 11% of Americans are satisfied with the way things are going. James Shannon, you're surprised.
Not at all.
You seem shocked by these numbers.
Absolutely. You know, to paraphrase James Carville from the 1992 campaign, it's the economy, stupid. And the economy is real stupid these days, and all the president's efforts have not borne fruit. And to be fair, he's faced with an opposition party who, as Mitch McConnell, the minority leader of the Senate, says, his #1 goal is to make sure the president is not reelected. Well, he's doing everything to do that. This election will turn on the economy, and what happens in the economy over the next 8-9 months will tell the tale.
Policies have not borne fruit, Michael Truncale, perhaps because we haven't seen a great many very specific proposals from the White House reference some of these things. Jobs, the jobs plan, for example, to be laid out in September.
Yeah. You know, James is correct. The #1 issue today is the economy. That is what our future is about. The campaign is going to be about that. We do not need more political rhetoric. We do not need more political speeches. We need a president who will come home from vacation and set out a plan. We need to have our taxes lower, a better regulatory environment so that we can promote jobs. That is the key. And, you know, we honor things that, you know, you mentioned Obama and, I mean, Osama bin Laden, rather, and that was a great victory for all Americans, but people have forgotten that. It is what's on people's minds today is the economy.
Do you think it happens around here as well? 11% of Southeast Texans are satisfied with the way things are going. What do we think on this panel about that?
Oh, I think it's higher than that.
You think it'd be a little higher than that?
I think it's higher than that. But you got to look at, I don't take a whole bunch of stock in polls. You know, polls are wrong all the time. But Mr. Truncale is right. You look at the economy, gas prices, the debt ceiling, the stock market. We are in 3 wars right now. We have immigration problems, and we have entitlements that are out of control. Yeah, we have a lot of problems in this country, and they need to be fixed. And in order to fix those, we're going to have to all come together to do it, and Congress is not doing that right now.
The 4th war, perhaps, would be the war on illegal immigration in this country along our southern border. The Washington Times reporting that the deportation of illegal immigrants is in a state of change. Does the presidential order usurp the power of Congress, giving the Homeland Security Department the power to begin, on a case-by-case basis at least, not sending illegal immigrants out of the country, not deporting illegal immigrants? This is a backdoor order that just came through the door recently, perhaps, James Shannon. Is this something new? Is this something new under the sun? The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun.
Basically what it was, Homeland Security had gone on a deportation binge and was deporting the relatively innocent dependents of people that came into their net. And this presidential order is to slow that down. The idea that somehow it's a backdoor implementation of the DREAM Act is incorrect.
You said illegal immigrants, correct? There's
right, illegal immigrants.
So to make the distinction, you're saying the illegal immigrants that were being deported and should not have been.
Basically, you know what? We have, what, 10, 12 million illegal immigrants. If we want to get with the railroads and lease all the boxcars, we can start shipping those people out of here tomorrow. Unfortunately, that has a bad historical precedent to load people onto boxcars.
Well, somebody said that if you did that with 18-wheelers, you'd have a line backed up to the Canadian border.
Okay, you tossed out a term like the DREAM Act. Let's be clear what the DREAM Act was. The DREAM Act, which was defeated in Congress in a very partisan debate, would have let the children of illegals who were in this country and had attended school and done well stay in this school and stay in this country and attend college. Am I right?
In the military, if they were served in the military.
Right, exactly. That's what the DREAM Act is. The DREAM Act is not some wholesale amnesty like that one given to us by that last left-wing President Ronald Reagan. Let's be, immigration is a constant thorn in the side of this country, and we don't have a realistic policy for dealing with it. But that's what this presidential order was. It was not a backdoor DREAM Act. It was to stop the overreaction of Homeland Security.
And I don't disagree with you, but let's look at the facts. And the facts are that Hispanics support the president right now at around 49%. That's down 36 points from 2 years ago. He's fixing to run an election. He wants transparency. We've got it. It's very transparent. This is a political move.
I'd like to get away from politics for a moment. People are tired of politics. We need to make the federal government do what it's intended to do, and that's enforce our immigration laws.
Just common sense.
Common sense. And when you want to talk about immigration, the first thing we must talk about is border security. We need to protect jobs for American citizens, but we need to have border security not just to stop the flow of illegal immigrants. My grandfather was a legal immigrant here, but we need to stop the flow of illegal immigrants as well as the flow of drugs, weapons, potential terrorists, etc. We've got to get away from politics and get back to policies that work.
See, that's a unique perspective with your grandfather, a legal immigrant to this country. There are tens of thousands of Hispanics in the Mexican nationals in the state of Texas right now that would like some form of amnesty. They would like a change in the policy to where they would know in the future that that they would have a home in the United States, and we don't really see anything really from, arguably either party coming down the pike with regard to a meaningful immigration policy.
Wait. The question is, how do you do that, Mike? Do you want to park a few divisions of the First Army down there on the border? Well, and this fence, you build a 13-foot fence,
but when
they get a 14-foot ladder.
But when the governor asks for 1,000 National Guard troops and describes now, 1,000 National Guard troops along the border, and describes it as a right that Americans have that the borders are protected. How do you argue against Governor Rick Perry in that
I can give you a very practical way, and it's been developed at Lamar University here in Beaumont. We've developed fuel cells that can go into these airplanes that can go up and down, quietly up and down the border with sensors and with television cameras, and can spot where there's a problem and then direct appropriate border control agents. We still have to have more boots on the ground and, where necessary, fencing. But yes, it is not impossible, and we can do something in a meaningful way to shore up our borders. We should.
But this country is based on the rule of law. I'm a lawyer. We adhere to the rule of law, but we make exceptions. Just for a class of people or a protected class or whatever, we make exceptions. Why is there an exception? If it's against the law to be here illegally, we should enforce it.
It's against the law. It's against the law. What do you think?
This political scapegoating, though, of the current president is ridiculous. The idea that the immigration problem in this country started on January 21st,
not at all.
2009 is absurd.
But that's not what he's saying. He's just saying, it's time for somebody to take charge, and this is a president who said, we were going to have change.
We want those workers here. The previous administration and the administrations before that understood the need for these workers to be in this country.
And businesses want these workers
and we're unwilling to take the steps.
But we have a lot of Americans who are out of work. We have people who are carpenters, who are plumbers, who are electricians, who are farmers, who are American citizens who need jobs. We need to take care of our own.
Saucy language from Governor Rick Perry a few years ago that is now being introduced into the conversation about his political run for president. We'll talk about it when Southeast Texas Weekly continues.